Hey everybody, it's Neon here and welcome back to Pettyrevenge. This first story is called Negative Review Makes Bad Boss Go Nuts. So I worked for this guy who was a bit of a jerk. He was late to my first day in the office, so I had to wait 30 minutes outside the front door. He then told me about how he closed his business down because his soon-to-be ex-wife wanted too much money, so he closed up his company and 50 people lost their job. He also left me for the afternoon by myself and didn't come back, so I had to call around the other boss to get the key to lock up. I knew the first day I had made a huge mistake. Anyway, about a week in, he is ranting and raving about a bad Google review he got, like a full-on tantrum. Got so worked up and had a few people give him 5 stars on Google to right the injustice. He was upset for a day or so. I worked for this guy for a couple of months, always looking for other employment. It doesn't work out and I leave and go somewhere 10 times better, where I still am 3.5 years later. This is where the petty revenge comes in. I set up a Google review account and start placing normal 4 to 5 star reviews all around town, just randomly. 6 months later, I do the same thing and again another 6 months down the track. After a couple of years, I'm a local guide. I give this guy a 1-star review and state how he wound up his last business and also name it in the review so people can Google how the business went into liquidation, which is 100% true. A couple of days later, a few more 5-star reviews come on to bump him to 4.1 overall rating. I know 80% of these didn't come from clients, but people he knows or service providers he uses. It's great knowing he would have been super pissed. Might do it again in another 6 months. Alright, this next one's called Block My Driveway, Have Fun with My Dog's Poop. We live near a tourist spot, and parking can get a little dicey on the weekend. Luckily, we have a driveway and 1 car, so it's not an issue. Saturday, my husband had to pick me up from work. When we returned, we found our driveway was blocked by another car. We're pretty close to our neighbors, and it wasn't one of their cars, so we were at a loss on whose it was. We were annoyed, but not terribly inconvenienced since there was parking in front of our house. So we called the city. Turns out, if you're not blocked in your driveway, then they won't tow. Parking enforcement deals with those issues, and they don't want work on weekends. I love pranks, so I took matters into my own hands. It's time to pick up the dog poop, and I tie each of the bags to the door handles, double knotted so you can't just pull off the bags. I don't have enough poop, so I had to get some from my neighbor's house. I'm dedicated. We open the windows and quietly go about our business. The driver returns with their friend 4 hours later. The poop bags have been hanging in the sun. It smells rank. We hear the driver absolutely appalled at the bags. Then they try to rationalize blocking our driveway. They checked. It didn't seem like a big deal. You know, nothing that excuses blocking a driveway. The driver looks to their friend and then says, "That seems fair." Friend took the bags and the driver went on their way. That driver will think twice next time they come visit. Okay, here's one that I thought was actually really interesting. This one's called Nice Snickers Bar. A number of years ago, I was a paramedic in the UK. At the time, there were not many of us qualified. In fact, my PIN was in double digits showing how early I qualified. At the ambulance station I worked at, we had a food thief, and he had a thing about Snickers bars. I used to like my Snickers bars from the refrigerator so the caramel was chewy, just a texture thing. The problem was, if I left one there and got a job, I could guarantee it would be gone when I got back. I hatched a plan. As a paramedic, I carried syringes and hypodermic needles. I also had a bottle of 2 million Scoville hot pepper sauce in my locker. We had a good idea who the thief was, but not actual proof. But here I was working the same shift as him. A job came in and he went out on it. I got a Snickers bar, drew up 5 milliliters of hot pepper sauce, fitted a 14G needle, and pushed the whole 5 milliliters into the bar through the wrapper. I went through the wrapping into the end of the bar and then popped the bar into the fridge, syringe and needle into the sharps box, and sat back. Not long after I got a call to a job, and away I went. A while later, I came back to base and was met by another crew member telling me the guy we suspected of stealing food was in the toilets being sick and if I could have a look at him. When I went in, he was crouched over the toilet, red-faced and sweating with streaming eyes. I asked what was going on and he said he thought he had food poisoning. Full of mock concern, I ran up tests on him: temperature, BP, blood glucose, and a 12-lead ECG. Of course, all was fine, so I quizzed him on his symptoms: burning sensation in his mouth, nausea, running eyes, sweating. I said I couldn't find anything wrong with him, but could he have eaten anything irritant by any chance? He looked at me to see me holding the pepper sauce bottle. You could see the light come on as he realized what had happened. There was a burst of cheering from the other crewmates, watching as they realized what had gone on. That was the last time any food went missing. So I know this video was a little bit short, but I'm just trying to get back into the groove of things, so I hope you enjoyed these stories, and I'll see you all in the next video. Thanks.